Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to an episode of my Isolation podcast. And today, let's finally talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's been a while. um, so the Nintendo Switch 2 got announced on the 17th of January. So I've had a lot of time to think about my thoughts on it. Um, I remember last year there was a whole podcast of just speculating on what Switch 2 was going to be, what was going to have, what it could have been like. And now it's finally here. So just quickly recap, been a big Nintendo fan my whole life. I've got an original Nintendo Switch, but also had in the past, a GameCube, a Wii. I had a Wii U at one point, which I hated. I hate the Wii U. Probably the biggest waste of money I've ever spent in my life. I probably would get one now though, just to play Wii games because it's backwards compatible with Wii games and it bumps resolution up to HD. So I mean, I would probably get a Wii U now, but not when it first came out. I mean, I think I think I bought mine for like £280 when it first came out. Yeah, it was just not probably the biggest waste of money of all time. Obviously, when the Wii U was failing, Nintendo had to bring out another system. That, of course, being the Nintendo Switch, and that was a very big success. And now we finally have a look at the Switch 2. I think this thing has been rumored for ages. It was been rumored for years, the Switch 2. There's been so many leaks, fake mock-ups, everything you could imagine. I mean, the Switch. I think there was at one point the Switch 2 was going to have everything according to these leaks. They were coming out weekly. Speculation on when we were actually going to get the reveal was even worse. People saying, "Oh, it's going to be October 2024. It's going to be November 2024. It's going to be January 2025. It's going to be February 2025." Eventually, I think one leaker, I think he's called Nate the Hate, finally got the correct date. That being, of course, January 17th. 2025, and it kind of just came out of nowhere. It's weird because with the last Switch, Nintendo actually teased when it was getting revealed. Had a little picture of Mario up behind, peeking behind a curtain. And at the time, obviously, it was codenamed the NX, and they're like, "Let's get your first look at the Nintendo NX today around so and so PM." But for this one, they kind of just dropped it. Just dropped it. They were like, "Nah, fuck it. Let's just here you go. Here's the Switch 2. Yeah, that's it." But that's just it. It just kind of dropped out of nowhere. Which I guess isn't like the most the most surprising thing for them, but it was a little bit weird how with the last Switch they kind of built it up, and then this one it just kind of, here's a trailer, here you go, like, stop asking us about it. And honestly, I think I was at work when it dropped, and then I finally watched the trailer after work, and I was pretty excited. I think the Switch 2 is probably one of the few things this year that I'm actually really excited for. I don't know if I'll get it on launch. I'm hoping I'll get it on launch. I've got my fingers crossed. I'll get it for launch day. Depending on when it comes out, I'm hoping. Well, we'll go into that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm hoping to go to the launch day because I've never been to a console launch day before. I've always wanted to because it always seemed like fun. I remember reading in the O&M magazine all of the people that attended the Wii midnight launch and Mario Kart Wii's midnight launch, at least the ones here in the UK anyway, and they just seem like a very fun time. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Switch 2 now. It just looks so good. I just love its design. I like the way that it looks, a lot bigger than the original Switch. The screen's a lot bigger. You even see in the reveal trailer, the everything just becoming much more bigger. Like the screen and the Joy-Cons becoming bigger as well. But it still looks very sleek. And that's the impressive thing about it, is that it's bigger, but it's not like bulkier. You know what I mean? It's not like the Wii U gamepad, for example, where that thing was just too bulky. That thing was too big. That thing was just like fat. Not to fat shame the Wii U, but that thing was huge and it's just uncomfortable to hold. Compared to this, where it's still much bigger, a much bigger screen than the original Switch's screen on the tablet, but I think it still looks a lot more sleeker than it would. Even for the Joy-Cons as well, even though they're a lot more bigger compared to the Switch One's Joy-Cons, they still look a lot more sleeker. I love the design as well. I've heard some people say they hate the design, they hate the black design. They think it's a bit too bland. Personally, I quite like it. I like the little blue and salmon tints coming off the left and the right side of the Switch. the little like colored circles around the analog sticks as well. I really like those, and I just think it's a good color. I don't see what the problem is with this. And also, like, this happens with every Nintendo system. It comes out with like a basic color, and then other like colored systems come out afterwards. With the GameCube, they start with purple, and then eventually we've got silver and orange. With the Wii, we started with white, and then eventually we got red, green, blue, and I think the Wii U as well. You had white and black. I think that was pretty much it though for the Wii U. I don't think the Wii U didn't survive enough to get any more like variants, sadly. But yeah, I love the new Joy Cons. Again, they're much more bigger, which will make them a lot more easier and much more comfortable to hold than the original Joy Cons, were just a bit too small. Particularly if like you're playing it with it on its side, or you're using it for like Mario Party or something like that. Um, I'm loving the salmon and blue tints that they got around them, to indicate which one's the left Joy-Con, which one's the right Joy-Con, and all that stuff. And the biggest difference though with the original Switch is that with the original Switch, obviously it had like a railing system where you had to slide the Joy-Cons onto the tablet. It's going to be magnets. This was something that was been rumored for a while. So it's nice to have it officially confirmed. Um, and it just will make things a hell of a lot easier. Like it's not. I don't hate the slide system where you just slide them on, but I think the magnetic system will be a much more easier process. You literally just snap them into place, and then that's it. And then you just detach them with. I'm guessing there's going to be a release button on the back of the Joy Cons where you just you can press that and they come off, and they detach right away. I'm guessing anyway. I've heard some people try and complain about this, but saying, "Oh, the Switch is going to break. The magnetic sensor is going to come off, and it's going to break. Your Switch is going to break, and all this other stuff." And it's just you don't know what you're talking about. Like it's clearly not going to break. They wanted the original Switch Joy Cons to have magnets to be magnetic. They couldn't get it to work. So they've had all this time to craft it. Game Trailers even did a video in response to this with one of those leaked Switch prototypes. They actually did a video debunking the Switch 2 is gonna break easily. It's gonna fall off. Oh no! Like all that shit. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. It's not gonna break. It's just looking for things. It just feels like you're looking for things to complain about now. Honestly, just can we just get excited for things again, please? Just like, do we have to complain about everything? Um, Speaking of which, the name, again, people were complaining about this as well, saying it was going to lead to another Wii U situation. This was before the Switch 2 actually got revealed. I believe the name got leaked, which, I mean, I think the name's been leaked for a while. And also the logo, I believe, did actually get leaked at one point. I remember seeing a screenshot of it on Instagram at one point. Either that was just a very clever mock up made by a fan. But yeah, a lot of fans were complaining about it because it's going to be another Wii U situation, and just shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's a perfectly fine name. The whole reason why the Wii U's name affected the console sales was because it was called the Wii U. It wasn't marketed well at all. It was marketed as a accessory to the original Wii rather than what it actually was, which was supposed to be a new console. And also the name as well. I mean, Wii U. They should have just called it Wii 2. That way, people would have actually caught on a lot better. Because there were people out there who didn't know what the Wii U was, and then this one is a lot more better because obviously, it's called the Switch 2. People have the original Switch. They probably know about the Switch OLED, Switch Lite, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the next Switch, new upgraded Switch." So this isn't going to affect any sales. This is not a Wii U situation whatsoever. Again, these are just people who are just trying to find things to whine and complain about. Coincidentally enough, I've said this before back when I did the Future of Nintendo episode back last year when I was talking about the Zelda movie and how everyone was complaining and whining about that, and how these are just people who just want to complain about things, who don't want people to get excited for things, who want to try and drown out people's excitement of things, and it's just leave people alone. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's probably some actual genuine criticisms, but I've not heard any, to be honest. And this just sounds like whining for the sake of whining, complaining for the sake of complaining. It's like, again, maybe this is like a safety blanket for these people, where maybe this is them trying to keep their expectations in check. But there's other ways to do that without looking for things to complain about. I'm just saying. I've heard some people complain about the trailer as well. saying, "Oh, they didn't show us enough. Oh, we gotta wait for a direct now, to find out more about the console. Oh, we only got like a small snippet of Mario Kart." That they did the same thing with the last Switch, man. Like, come on, guys. They did this. They did the exact same thing with the last Switch. Like, they announced in October 2016. It was basically a reveal trailer just showing off what the console is, what the console is about, and all different kind of features. Then they had a big, huge Nintendo Direct in January 2017, where they went into more detail about what the Switch was about, what kind of games were going to be available for it as well. Because even the Switch One's reveal trailer didn't have that many games. I think it had like it got a small snippet of like Mario Kart, which we did in the Switch Two trailer. You got a small snippet of Mario Odyssey. You got a small snippet of Breath of the Wild, which we already knew about because that game was already announced for the Wii U a couple of years prior. So that's not even a new game that got revealed for that. So again, it's just literally the same thing that they did with the last Switch, and people saying, "Oh, I'm feeling so underwhelmed by this reveal," and it's like, well, here's a good idea: don't read leaks, don't look at leaks, don't look into things if it's going to make you that underwhelmed. Like, I don't get what the whole deal is with that. I didn't think it was underwhelming at all. I thought it was fine. They're just doing the exact same thing they did with the last Switch. It's not at all worth complaining or whining about. Honestly, it's just absolutely stupid. Going back to the Joy Cons again, because I forgot to mention this earlier. So with the Joy Cons, obviously, there's going to be this weird mouse feature where it's going to act like a mouse you would for a computer or a laptop or something like that. There's even like a sensor for it as well, which I think you can briefly see in the Switch 2 trailer as well. And you even see it in action, the Switch 2 trailer, where the Joy-Con straps snap on, and you see them the Switch 2 Joy-Cons kind of sliding around on the table as if it was a mouse. I have no clue what this is going to be for. I'm going to be honest. Maybe we're going to get more point and click titles for the Switch. That'll be interesting. Hopefully, we can get a lot more like old Telltale games getting re-released for the Switch. That would be obviously. I mean, I don't know if that'll be the case. I mean, they could probably just put all that on the Switch eShop, make that available on the eShop, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, because that thing needs some improvements. I'm just saying that thing does need some improvements. But yeah, I can't wait to see what that's about. I just love the fact that the Joy Cons just snap on, again, like rather than again slide on, because again with the original Switches, slide on system, particularly with the Joy-Con straps. If you slide it on but it was the wrong way around, it would take ages for you to like get it off. You'd have to like you'd look it up on YouTube. I think you'd use like a fork or something, or a knife or something, like just to like or like no, it was a paper clip. That was it. You had to use like a paper clip to like get like this little switch thing on the bottom to get it off, and it was just a nightmare. So hopefully, if hopefully that's not going to be a case with the Switch 2. So maybe if you do it the wrong way, it doesn't connect properly, but you can detach it easily enough, and then just put it back on the joy. So hopefully, with the Joy-Con straps being magnetic as well, that'll help solve that problem. Having it be backwards compatible with Switch One games is a pretty good move. But again, like, this is kind of a thing with Nintendo systems in general. They usually are backwards compatible with the previous systems games. Usually, I mean, you had the Wii being able to play GameCube games. You had the original DS and DS Lite being able to play Game Boy Advance games. You had the 3DS being able to play the DS games, DSi games, and many more. The same with the 2DS as well. All 3DS games, all DS games. You could play on the 2DS. They were backwards compatible. You had the Wii U being backwards compatible with the original Wii, which was generally just a giant like Wii emulator. Like, you literally like put the Wii game in and it just takes you to like the Wii menu, which I always kind of found kind of fun. Having it be backwards compatible with Switch One games is a pretty good move. So I did say that not all of them are going to be backwards compatible, which it'll be interesting to see which ones won't be backwards compatible, but hopefully it's not gonna be like a big chunk. I mean, there's a ton of Switch games. I mean, I've got 23, 24 Switch games in my collection so far, so like I don't think any of them are not gonna be compatible with the Switch 2. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've heard, again, going back to people complaining about the Switch 2, like people saying, "Oh, there's no the lack of innovation. There's no this is the end. This must be Nintendo innovating." And oh my god, and it's just like, who cares? Like, yeah, I know Nintendo's been trying to innovate since the Wii. During like the NES days, I've been always trying to like add new ways for us to play games with peripherals and accessories. Um, and then obviously the Wii and DS came out, and that was kind of the whole first time where the accessory became the main controller for the system. And I mean, yeah, so I get what so maybe some people are just used to it, but at the same time, like it just who cares? Like I'm ready for Nintendo to just kind of coast along these next few generations, doing essentially what PlayStation and Microsoft are doing, which is the same console, just slightly more powerful. Microsoft has only been doing that for years, like, so why can't Nintendo? And also, why does Nintendo have to be the ones to fucking innovate all the time? Like, where's Microsoft's innovation? Oh, Connect. Oh, yeah, yeah, that went down really well, didn't it? To be fair though, Sony has actually been trying with the VR and stuff like that, so I'll give Sony that one. But I don't know why Nintendo always has to like innovate. And also, didn't everyone like wasn't everyone like complaining about Nintendo always innovating like a few years ago? Wasn't this kind of the thing? Wasn't this what people were hoping for? The same system but just slightly more powerful. Like, wasn't this kind of what people were you know asking for? Literally, like I feel like Nintendo is the one video game company that can literally give its fans exactly what they want, and then they'll just still complain regardless. Like it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic at this point. Like, just get excited, man. Like, it can't be that hard. Like, look forward to. You're allowed to be excited for things again. Like, it's fine to get excited. Yeah, keep your expectations in check. But there's a way to doing that without doing this whole thing of, oh, this is gonna be terrible, or oh, we're gonna have to write terrible in the thumbnail in big huge capital letters, and it's just like it's not innovative enough, and it's like, what do you mean? It doesn't have to be. And also, I think people are forgetting the fact that while the Switch is technically a console, it is also a handheld hybrid. So, and a lot of Nintendo's handhelds, they're just literally the same model, just slightly more powerful. So you had the Game Boy, you had the Game Boy Color, and then you had the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance SP, and then the Game Boy Micro. And then you had the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, which had the camera features and stuff like that. And then you had the 3DS and the 3DS XL, and then the new 3DS, and then the 2DS. So a lot of their handheld stuff is normally the same system but slightly more powerful in a way. So that's just kind of what they're doing with the Switch, and I think that's going to work much better with the Switch. I feel like Nintendo's probably going to coast along with the Switch model for a good long while. I don't see them. I don't see them ending it anytime soon. I feel like after the Switch 2, we might get one more Switch, and then maybe they go off and do something completely different again. But I feel like Nintendo's kind of earned the right to coast along these next few couple of generations with the same model, the same kind of console, just slightly more powerful. I feel like they've earned that now. Like we can let them get away with that. They've earned it. They've earned that. They've earned that. And also with the new mouse feature, I mean, it's not like it's going to be completely innovative. There is that new mouse feature with the Joy Cons. Again, with them sliding around the table and stuff like that. So, hope. So I think it's going to be fine. Again, most people were asking for this anyways. It's just kind of a small minority who are just looking for things to complain about, and it's kind of annoying. Seeing people be like, it's not innovative enough. Oh, this is going to be so bad, and it's just like, who cares? And also, Nintendo has had great success with the original Switch. The original Switch, has been going on for like nearly 9 years at this point, and they've still come out with great games, loads of like remasters, and developers are happy to put their games on the Switch, unlike the Wii U and the Wii, where developers weren't that happy to put their games on there because it meant making sacrifices and cutting out certain aspects to make those versions of those games more compactful. And also, this didn't see the advantage to having it on the Switch compared to now, where it's a console handheld hybrid. The idea of The Witcher, for example, a great game, and you can take it anywhere with you. You can play it on the TV, and then I gotta go to work, but oh wait a minute, I can pick it up and then carry on my gaming on the bus or the taxi or anywhere else. Or if you've got a flight, you can bring it with you and enjoy it on the flight and everything. So again, like it's going to be fine. I mean, I've had success with this model before. I don't see why they'd have to change it now. I mean, yeah, lack of innovation, but I think that's going to be a good thing. I think again, Nintendo has they've earned the right to coast along these next couple of generations, basically doing what they did with the leather handhelds, which is the same model but slightly more powerful than the previous model, and slightly more sleeker and more easier for the user. Speaking of which, talking about power for just for a second, I remember when I did the episode on Nintendo last March, actually, so nearly a year ago. Um, where I think I said, "Oh, the system needs to be powerful, it needs to have loads of power, it needs to be, really powerful." And honestly, now I'm thinking probably not. I think it needs to have a good chunk of power, but definitely, I don't need it. We don't need it to be on the same level of power as the PS5 or the Xbox Series S or Series X. Especially considering how bad the game development for those two systems has been these past couple of years. Unfortunately, it's taking ages for the games to come out at alarming at a quick rate. There's long droughts between games for the PS5 and the Xbox Series S, and and the fact that again, like, it's meant to be more powerful, but a lot of these games are just, they're glitchy. They come with like day one patches or DLC and stuff like that, compared to the Switch, where it's actually a lot more easier for developers to actually make games for it. And sometimes they can just port games straight over and it's completely fine. One thing I do want to talk about is the competition this will have. So, when I say competition, I don't mean PS5 or Xbox Series S and Series X, because those systems have been out for a while now, and the original Switch has done just fine against those systems anyway. I mean, yeah, sales for the original Switch have fallen, but let's be honest, they've just now switched to it's going to happen, and the original Switch is like 9 years old at this point, so that's going to happen anytime soon. But what I'm talking about more is how after the original Switch came out, there was a huge influx of console like handhelds which could play games that you would play on a regular console that you could take on the go, like the Steam Deck those kind of systems. Because ever since then, like, we very much pick a pool now of hand consoles you can take on the go. It ain't just Nintendo anymore, and I do think that that might be a little bit difficult for Nintendo to overcome. But I don't think, well, a little bit difficult. I don't think it actually will be that difficult for them to overcome, to be honest. It might be something to be a little bit concerning about, but again, a lot of people who are on the original Switch want an upgrade. They want a more powerful system, and I think Switch 2 is going to deliver on that massively. I'm just hoping that the games, I want to be powerful enough so the games can actually run properly, because a lot of these games, man, they're great, but fucking Chugosaurus Rex, like, they chug and they chug loads. So, I would very much rather a system where everything runs at a consistent frame rate. Like the other day, I brought Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Donkey Kong Country Returns Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze as well. I had some money saved up, so I was able to get both back to back. I've been playing Donkey Kong Country HD first, and already up to like the fourth world, so halfway through that game. And it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but the Switch port definitely drops frame rates, particularly between loading screens. It's You can just see it chugging from a mile away, and it's not the best. But yeah, the competition, I don't think it'll be too fierce for them, but it's something to keep an eye on, because obviously, gaming tablets have become, well, I think gaming tablets were already a thing before the Switch, but the Switch has definitely elevated that now to a point where the Steam Deck has come out, and a lot of other gaming handhelds have come out, where these console games you can just take on the go with you. Anywhere, anytime. The battery also needs to be really good for the Switch 2 as well. I know the Switch 1's battery, because they re-released the Switch 1, like a newish model with better battery life, and that's great. But I definitely think we need slightly better battery life if we want this new system to work. And yeah, so let's talk about the release. When do I think this thing is going to come out? I think it's going to come out in June of this year. I think June is definitely the target for it. I know some people might be a bit like, why June? Because obviously, you got the holiday period with Christmas and everything like that. But if you look at the pattern for the first Switch compare it to the pattern they're doing for the second one, for this first Switch, it got revealed, I think it was October 20th, 2017. October 20th, 2016. Sorry, that was when the reveal trailer got revealed, got dropped on YouTube and everything like that. And then around January 14th, 2017, so almost 3 months later, just under 2 months later, actually, we had the huge big huge presentation where we got game announcements and everything like that, which was really cool. And then it got released on March 3rd, 2017. So almost a month, almost 1 month late, like a month later, it came out. It came out, and if you have a look at the Switch 2, what they're doing for that one, and again, it got revealed on January 17th, 2025. The presentation for it is coming out April 2nd, 2025. So that's almost a 2 month gap, 2 to 3 month gap between those two dates, and which means that obviously, if they're doing the same with the original Switch after April 2nd, they wait a one whole month and then it comes out in early June. And I think that's going to be when that's going to be when that's when I think it's going to release. Because I think with the original Switch, again, the original Switch came out in March. What kind of gaming system comes out in March? Like, maybe I think the PS3 came out in March, actually, if I remember. I think it definitely came out in March in the UK. I think, if I remember correctly. But normally nowadays you would wait for like November, December time because it's the holidays, and that's when people are buying presents for your loved ones and everything like that. But again, the original Switch came out in March 2017, and it did just fine. I think because again, it's a console handheld hybrid, so I don't think it's gonna. You don't really need to release it in a big huge holiday month. I think, and again, the PS5 and Xbox Series One and Series S, they've been out for a while now. And I think that's not going to be a big problem for them with this new system. I think also as well they're going to try and keep costs at reasonable price. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing only cost like £300, maybe £400 at like the most expensive that you can push. But compared to like again the Xbox Series S and Series X and PS5, where it's like 600 quid for a video game console. And the one without the disc drive is not cheaper, which is I believe it's not cheap. I believe it's more expensive, if I remember correctly, or maybe it's the other way around actually. I should probably look into that, but I can't be asked. I'm too lazy for that shit. But yeah, I definitely think it's gonna be June. I'll put my hat in the ring now. If it's not June, then I'm probably not going to do anything because yeah, there's nothing really I can do. But yeah, I'm hoping for June. I think June would be a good one. I think as well, people have waited so long for a Switch 2. At this point, I feel like it is time to get for Nintendo to try and get this thing out as not quickly as possible. But again, like you've got a good couple of months to like build up a good marketing campaign for it. And again, with the original Switch, we had the reveal in October 2016. They had the presentation, and then you had the rest of January and the whole of February to build a good marketing campaign. And it'll be the same thing with the new Switch. With the Switch 2, it'll be you had the reveal on January 17th, and then you've got the presentation on April 2nd. So you got the whole of April, the whole of May to build up a really good marketing campaign for the Switch 2 before you release it in June. I don't know. I'm Team June. That's what I'm going to say. I'm Team June for the release. I'm Team June. I think it's going to be June. But I could definitely be wrong. Maybe they are saving it for the holiday system. Maybe they do want that extra push for hype and marketing and all that stuff, which I wouldn't blame them. But I'm going to say it's June for now, but I could be wrong on that. But based on again based on the patterns that we saw with the original Switch, and that this thing seems to be recreating that for the Switch 2, it does seem like I think June seems like a more likely date for me for it to come out, and I hope so because I get paid for my current job. I get paid twice in May, so like if the Switch 2 does come out in June, I can actually buy one on release day. So just saying, Let's talk about games for the Switch 2. Obviously, we saw Mario Kart for the Switch 2. That big, huge track, 24 races. That's going to be interesting. The new graphics also look really great. Donkey Kong's new design, how it looks similar to how he looks in the film, in the Mario Brothers movie. That'll be interesting. I'm not too sure how I feel about that, though. I kind of prefer the idea of the movie kind of look models to compare to the game models being more different from each other. But even then, like look at Mario and Luigi, they look a little bit more cartoony, but they don't look too different. Mario definitely looks a little bit more podgy than he did than he has done before. And as well as that, it's also Mario's 40th anniversary this year as well. So who knows what games we're going to come out for the Switch for the Switch 2. I'm hoping for again, we could get a new 3D Mario game. It'll probably be I'm hoping for a big, huge open world one this time, similar to what they did in Bowser's Fury, where it's just one land, but you travel between different islands or different sections of the world, and you can just go exploring and do whatever the hell you want. One with that. I've heard some people suggest they could do a new Super Mario Bros. Collection where they compilate, new Super Mario Bros. For the DS, new Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS, and new Super Mario Bros. Wii all into one cartridge. So it's a nice, fun collection because obviously we've already got the Wii U ports, Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the original Switch, and obviously that's probably going to be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch 2. So there's not really a lot of like loss there. That could be really cool because I've only played the original New Super Mario Bros for the DS, and that was it. I did play a little bit of the Wii version. A housemate that I had in London had it for his Wii, and we were just playing. We would play it a little bit, but we kind of stopped. I wouldn't mind getting more into that version though, because I always wanted to try that version out. And the Super Mario Bros 2, never had a 3DS, but I've not really left it interested. That game looks really boring to me, to be honest. So I don't really care for that. Luigi Mansion, the original Luigi Mansion, I'm hoping gets released in some capacity, maybe for GameCube for Nintendo Switch Online, maybe a HD version. I mean, they poured it over the second one in HD, so I don't know why you can't do the same with the GameCube one, especially when you consider the fact that you wouldn't have to do much to like have the GameCube version looking good in HD. It would just have been a simple, upscaling, definitely, especially considering what they did with the Metroid Prime remaster and other GameCube games that have come out that got ported over to the original Switch, like Paper Mario and so forth. I think that could be, and Pikmin as well. I think that could be very possible. What else? What other Mario games could come out? Mario Galaxy 2, I definitely think needs to be released because Mario Galaxy 1 is technically, it was on Switch for a limited time because the original Mario Galaxy came out for the original Switch for the 35th anniversary as part of the 3D All Stars collection, which I do own. I snapped that baby up the moment it came out because, you say limited time, it's, yeah. But we could, I could be wrong on that front. Again, maybe they could make it available for a Wii Nintendo Switch Online service, which maybe. We'll get into that a little bit later. But obviously, the only game we've got confirmed is Mario Kart. At the moment, the only Mario game that's confirmed to come out. There's a ton of stuff I want to see for that version, though. This new version of Mario Kart. The first thing being is that I really want, no more retro tracks. Please, no more retro tracks. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of seeing them. I'm sick and tired of racing on them. I'm just sick of racing on the same tracks over and over and over again. It was fun for DS and Wii when they were a nice little nostalgic throwback, and it did feel really special seeing these old tracks come back in this new graphical upgrade. And even with Mario Kart Super Circuit, which was the first game to kind of experiment with that idea, because obviously in that game, if you finished the main campaign, you unlocked all of the tracks from the Super Nintendo version and in Game Boy Advance graphics and everything, which added an extra layer of replayability to the game, which I thought was really nice. A nice little reward as well. But then you got to Mario Kart 7, and you got to Mario Kart 8, and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then Mario Kart Tour. And it's just not special anymore now. It's getting to the point where it just doesn't feel special anymore. And it's gone to a point where they're just started bringing back the same tracks from a previous game, but just upgrading HD, and it's just they're not even being that selective with the tracks anymore that they're bringing back. And after the whole booster course, where majority of those tracks were just retro tracks, only a few of them were new, I'm ready for us to go back to the days when every track in a Mario Kart game was brand new. I'm ready for that now, because the last game we had with that was, excluding the arcade versions, the last game we had with that on a console was Mario Kart Double Dash for the GameCube, and that was years ago. So no more retro tracks. I don't want any non-Mario characters in this, because obviously in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe we had Link, Animal Crossing characters, the Inklings from Splatoon series, they were in that as well. And it was cool, don't get me wrong, it was cool seeing them in there for a while, but again, first of all, the game's called Mario Kart, and second of all, again, I think much like with the retro tracks, it'll just start to get boring after a while and just become just not special anymore. And I just feel like they should have it be just a one and done for Mario Kart 8, a little experiment that they did for Mario Kart 8, and then just leave it for a couple of entries, and then maybe bring it back for like a new entry down the line. Speaking of the title, I'm really hoping this doesn't get called. They don't call this Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever. I don't understand the numbering system. I don't know why they started numbering them after Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, especially when you consider the fact that Mario Kart 7 is not the seventh game in the series. It just doesn't make any sense to like number your game entries halfway through, or that late into its life cycle. The Smash Bros. Games, they never numbered them. There was always Smash Bros, Melee, Brawl, and then even for the Wii U and 3DS, instead of calling them Smash Bros. 4, they just called it Smash Bros. 4 3DS and 4 Wii U, and that was it. That's probably what Mario Kart 7 and 8 should have done, to be honest. Like, or they should have called it something gimmicky, like, I don't know, Mario Kart 3D or Mario Kart Anti-Gravity or something like that. I don't know, like just something like anything else, but like just basically just don't number them, okay? Just don't. It's confusing. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense to number them. Don't number them. Don't call it Mario Kart 9 or 10. Don't number them. Like, just come up with something else. Like, be creative and actually come up with like a subtitle, because, and again, like the other entries didn't need to be numbered as well. Like you had Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo, but pretty self-explanatory. You had Mario Kart 64. Again, what console is that for? You had Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance. You had Double Dash for the GameCube. Again, they were both subtitled, but you can tell which one's which. You had DS and Wii. They're named after the consoles they're on. So again, you knew which versions they were. And then, but then obviously, then suddenly, oh, Mario Kart 7. And it's just really confusing. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't number them. Please do not number them. I'm going to end this rant, but please do not number them. What else do I want to see? A better character selection screen. I don't want to see the Koopalings taking up all that space. Just do what you did with Bowser Jr. in Smash Brothers, and just have them be technically skins for him, if that makes sense. I don't want to see any more baby. I mean, they've already kind of confirmed that it's going to be more baby characters in this, which fine, I guess. But I'm hoping that we get some more creative characters in there. Guys like Professor Egad, for example, who's never been in a Mario Kart game, and you got other ones as well. Like you got all the Mario RPGs you can pull characters from, as well. You got like. You can have like, again, like there's other games you could like pull characters from left, right, and center. Or you don't have to keep making baby versions of the characters or relying on variants, like Metal Mario or Pink Gold Peach, which really should just be skins for the real Mario and the real Peach. Even Cat Mario and Cat Peach were like their own characters. Like, what the fuck? like just be creative with your character selection screen. Have a better selection of characters. Maybe try and include a track builder as well. I think that could be really cool, especially when you consider the fact you could have it where you can build tracks, you can make your own Grand Prix, you can share them online with people and have people around the world race the Grand Prix and see who wins, and be good interaction with people, like, etc., etc. And it'll just be really fun to make your own tracks. I know it might be a bit of a big ask because obviously the Smash Bros stage builder is not the best, and I think like for something like that to work, you'd probably have to build an entire game around it. But I don't know. I mean, give it a go, give it a try, and just see how it is. And the last one I would love to see, I think most people would like to see this as well, is an adventure mode, because Mario Kart's never had an adventure mode before. To be fair though, I think Mario Kart's never really needed an adventure mode, because the whole reason why Diddy Kong Racing and Crash Tagging Racing, for example, the reason why they have adventure modes is so that they can differentiate themselves from Mario Kart. They can kind of be like, hey, Mario Kart is all multiplayer, but we have a single player campaign you can race on and you play with, and all that stuff. So it's always kind of a thing for them to kind of differentiate themselves from Mario Kart. But like again, like those games of I mean, Crash Team Racing got remade for modern consoles a few years ago. But that thing has also come out for the Nintendo Switch, and I think it's time. It's time for Mario Kart to do it. I mean, the Mario Party games have had adventure modes. The some of the sports games have been made into RPGs, especially like tennis and golf for like the Game Boy. So like they've made for like RPGs basically. So so why not like give like even just a simple basic story, like say, I don't know, someone's like taken the Mushroom Kingdom Cup for the racing tournament and they all have to chase after it to get it back and something like that. You could have bosses, you could have Anything else, it could be really really fun. I think that I would love to see that. That's my main thing I want to see from a new Mario Kart is an adventure mode. Anything else like the car builders, yeah, they can come back. I guess I don't really care about that though. But hopefully, hopefully that game is good. What other games have come out for it? I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is an obvious pick. Because Metroid that thing's been in development hell since 2017. I think they ended up restarting development in 2018. It was with a different developer, and then that didn't work out. So they went back to Retro Studios, who did the first three and also did Donkey Kong Country Returns, not the HD port, but the original Wii version of that game. And yeah, I think it should. I think it's time. I think it should be a dual release between the original Switch and the Switch 2. I think it will be because they did that with Breath of the Wild, and I think it should be a launch title for the Switch 2 as well. Again, they did that with Breath of the Wild, and I think that worked out pretty well. And I think it could be a really good way for them to again like give this game a bit more love because the Metroid Prime series, as much as we don't want to admit it, the Metroid Prime series or the Metroid series in general is just not that popular. Unfortunately, it has a very cult status to it. Unfortunately, and the game looks gorgeous as well. I mean, you look at that those graphics that we saw in the Nintendo Direct back in June last year. It looks so good. It looks gorgeous. It looks perfect. I think it definitely should be a launch title for the Switch 2, alongside the Switch One as well. Zelda, I think that there's probably will be a new Zelda game, but I don't think we're going to get that for a while. I think a new Zelda game is like likely, but probably not until maybe later on the Switch's life cycle, like maybe Switch 2's life cycle. I mean, like maybe a year in or 2 years in. But there are two other games that did get remade for the Wii U, that never got ported over to the Switch One that could get ported over to Switch 2. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Like why have they not been brought over yet? Why have they not brought over yet, man? Like those two were they're good games, and like I don't know why the HD versions for Wii U didn't get ported over to Switch. I mean, they would have sold way more better if they were on Switch. I do have a theory that either they could be a launch title for the Switch 2, or they could come out only for the Switch 1, but be kind of the last kind of big Switch 1 game. Like, as in, because the Switch 1 started off with Breath of the Wild, a Zelda game. Kind of makes sense for it to end its life cycle with a Zelda game. And, why not be the two HD ports that everyone's been asking for, that being Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I've played more of Wind Waker than Twilight Princess. One of my siblings one of my siblings got Twilight Princess for a birthday present, but never replayed it, unfortunately. So I would generally love to like maybe give that game a try and give it a go. I think it'll be a really good time of games to come out for this thing. I guess a new Pikmin 5, if Pikmin 4 did that well. I've heard rumors about a new Smash Bros. I don't understand why you want a new Smash Bros. To be honest, I don't really see the point in a new Smash Bros. I think Ultimate was a fine enough final kind of bookend to that series. That's why I kind of always thought it was going to be a bookend to that series, to be honest, because I just think that's time. Like apparently according to Xeon from Nintendo Life, it seems that Sakurai wants to move on from Smash Brothers, and I think that's perfectly fine. He has been doing it for years, and also with that character roster for Ultimate, man, like who else could you add? Like that roster is so huge in Ultimate that like there's no one else you could add. Like it's I think it's probably best to leave Ultimate be the last one. Maybe port it over to Switch 2 with slightly better graphics and maybe like 2 or 3 characters at the most. But apart from that, like I wouldn't bother with new Smash Brothers. What else as well? I'm sure there'll be like a new Sonic game at some point, but I don't care for Sonic the Hedgehog. So, I like his films. I think his films are good. I thought Sonic 3 was really good, but his games I just do not care for. I have no interest in his games. What else could come out? Metroid Prime 2 and 3, HD versions of those games would be really cool. Again, particularly if Metroid Prime 4 is a launch title for the original Switch, but again, they could always add those to GameCube Online, but they could always release it twice. I mean, they've done that before. A new Donkey Kong game, like not don't put over Donkey Kong Country Returns again, like for the 4th time, please. It's embarrassing. Just make a new version, make a new game, make a new 3D game because we haven't had that since like Donkey Kong 64. So make that instead. Make a full open world like 3D Donkey Kong game. I know there was one apparently that was in development in like 2016, 2018, but it got cancelled, which sucks. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it should be good. We'll probably get a couple of new Kirby games, maybe a new 3D Kirby game, like similar to Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I mean, or maybe a new 2D Kirby game. 2D Kirby game, that'd be interesting. A new 2D Zelda as well. I mean, Echoes of Wisdom was a really good game. I haven't got that much into it, but from what I've played so far, it's really good so far. And I think definitely gonna try and dive into more of that game because I think it'll be really good. What else could come out for this Switch 2? I mean, there's so many good options. Splatoon 4, I think, would be a good option. I think Splatoon 4 would be interesting. Mario Maker 3, again, going back to Mario's 40th anniversary, I think that could be really cool. A third one because the first one was really good, the second one was really good. I think a third one for Switch 2 would be pretty decent. But what else as well? I think that should be. What other games could come out? I would love a new F-Zero game. Because you haven't had a new entry since GX for the GameCube. I think that was the last one. I mean, you could always, I guess, remaster GX in HD and then release it for Switch 2, but I'm not too sure. I think I'd rather for a completely new experience. A new Star Fox game would be nice as well. I know the last new one was Star Fox Zero. I think there's a reason why they never poured that over to Switch because, again, that game was just universally despised by the Star Fox community, which I feel really sorry for because they waited ages for a new game. I think the last new Star Fox game was like it was released for the DS. I can't remember which one it was. But it definitely I remember it coming out for the DS. I know Star Fox 64 got remade for the 3DS, but that's a remake and not a new entry. I remember there was rumors about a Star Fox Adventures remake, like a HD port for Switch One. I actually don't mind Star Fox Adventures. I think it's a really good game. A really interesting and really fun game. But I would love to see that maybe come out at some point, but I haven't got my hopes up. Luigi Mansion 4 would be really nice as well. I think that could be a really good entry because the third game was so much fun. Especially with the new mechanic where you could slam ghosts into one another. It was so much fun. So much fun. And yeah, there's like a ton of games that could come out for this thing. And then obviously you've got third-party games as well. Like there's loads of people speculating that GTA 6 could come out for the Switch. Maybe Indiana Jones and the Great Circle could come out for the Switch if it can run it. Maybe, hopefully, because I know Microsoft's been kind of lending off their exclusives to like other consoles. I think it's coming out for PS5 if I'm not mistaken. I just don't know other like third-party exclusives that could come out that I think would be really good for Switch. And I feel like developers, unlike the Wii U, developers would actually want their systems on the Switch because they can see the benefit of having it on the Switch. You can either play at home or take it on the go. It's completely fine. Like the amount of like developers who made sacrifices for certain games just to get it on Switch because they could see the potential. Developers want their games on this system. They see the potential that it could have. So there's a ton of other third-party games that could come out for this system that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I wonder what will come out for it. Might be a few HD remasters here and there, released exclusively for the Switch as well. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know what games that will be, but hopefully they'll be good. They'll be good. Fingers crossed, they'll be good. And yeah, so let's talk about the Nintendo Switch Online for a little bit, because that thing needs to be completely revamped for the Switch 2. Nintendo Switch Online it's okay, but it's not. It's okay, but it's not like amazing. I mean, the eShop, for example, needs it completely refurbished. That thing chugs. It's slow. It takes ages to load. It's really it's not good. It's not good at all. I think that thing needs to be revamped. In terms of Switch Online as well, I think we definitely need some more perks to it, particularly the expansion pack. I know that for the expansion pack, we already have the Mario Kart 8 DLC, and we have N64 games and GBA games. And they've been doing this weird thing where they'll add new perks on for people who own the standard tier, but something extra for people who own the expansion pack. So, for example, if you got the standard version, you can get NES, SNES, and Game Boy games. But for the expansion pack, you can get, I believe, Genesis, N64, and Game Boy Advance games on there as well. Um, but I definitely think we need to kind of ramp it up a little bit, and I think that it's time. It's time to do it. Let's get GameCube games on there because we need a GameCube online system for the Switch 2. GameCube games can easily run on the Switch 2. That's been proven multiple times now with all of the HD ports and remasters that we've gotten of all the GameCube games for the Switch One. This it can run it. It can run it fine. So let's do it. The GameCube controller is literally adaptable for the Switch with the GameCube adapter that came out for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and I think it's time to make them available for Switch now. It's time. People want it. People want to see the GameCube, represented. We want to see that representation of the GameCube. Damn it! Like we need more GameCube in our lives. I know getting GameCube games on there might be a little bit difficult because there's quite a lot of third party games like Simpsons Hit and Run, for example. That would take a lot of negotiations to get on there, but I think it'd be worth it. I think it would 100% be worth it. It would definitely be worth it, I think. What other games could come on there? Let's see. DS games need to come on there as well. They were able to do it with the they were able to do it with the Wii U. Again, mainly because due to the gamepad and stuff acting as a touchscreen for all the touchscreen stuff and etc. etc. But I think it's possible. I don't know. What they could do. They can figure something out. Just figure something out. Wii games as well, because again, Wii games can easily run on Switch. Very simply and very easily. And Wii U games as well, because why not? Let's have the original Wii U versions of all the Switch ports that came out. And I know people might say, "Oh, why would some of these games already came out for Switch? They don't release the same game twice." Well, the thing with that is that Mario 64 came out for the Switch as part of the 3D All Stars collection, and then when the N64 online service came out, it was part of that from day one. Advance Wars got remade for the Switch. Game Boy Advance online system launches. Advance Wars is part of that collection. So ideally, Nintendo is not immune to releasing the same games twice for the same system. Because they're greedy. They're very greedy. They love money. And it could be a good way to try and invest. You could have this new updated version, or if you want to go back to the original version that you remember playing, you can get the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack along with a collection of more games for it. So they're not immune to releasing the same game twice. We do need we definitely need more perks. Like we need voice chat on the Switch. And when I say voice chat, I mean actual voice chat, not a fucking app you have to use for your phone. Like, what even was that? I never used it. I don't think anyone used it. I think barely any game supported it. Your console is literally a fucking tablet. It's a tablet. Like, it can be easily implemented into the system itself. Like, just do that. Don't wait 4 years to add Bluetooth on. I don't know how it took them 4 years to do that, to add Bluetooth onto the Switch, but have that be a thing from day one. Streaming services, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that bothered about the Switch not having streaming services anymore, because I think we're kind of over the whole consoles being multimedia machines thing now. I think it's kind of run its course. It's not like when the PS2 came out and it was able to play DVDs, when people were like, oh my god, I can play DVDs on my console, that's so cool. Because now we have multiple other options. Now we can, if you want to play Blu-rays or like 4K Blu-rays, you can just get a Blu-ray player or a 4K Blu-ray player. Or you want to watch a film or a TV show on Disney Plus or Netflix or Amazon Prime or Quibi, if that was still around, which it isn't, it shut down. But or Crackle, if that's even still a thing. But if you want to watch one of those, you can just buy a smart TV or an Amazon Fire Stick or a Roku stick or basically any kind of streaming stick imaginable. You don't need to buy a £600 console in order to do that. So yeah, I think having with Switch not having access to streaming services, I think is a pretty good move. To be honest, it's just something I'm not bothered about. I wouldn't be too bothered if the only streaming service the Switch 2 had was like YouTube, like the Switch 1 did, and that was pretty much it. Because again, I don't think the Switch 2 really needs it. I think what's so good about the Switch 2 is how easily accessible it really is. It's a console that plays games, and that's it. That's all it has to be. That's all it has to do. It just has to play the games, and that's it. Just run your games, and that's it. Because that's what we buy consoles for. We buy consoles to literally play games. We don't buy consoles to play DVDs or watch movies or listen to music. We've got multiple things. We've got smartphones. We've got smart TVs. We've got laptops. We've got so much other ways to to arrange that stuff. We don't need, again, like I've said, we don't need a £600 or £700 console in order to in order to achieve that. It's very easily accessible now. We don't need that shit. So hopefully, I'm fine with the Switch not coming with any of those. Although the main menu needs an upgrade. I mean, the main menu for the originals for the OG Switch is, how do I put this very lightly? It's boring. It's very boring. It's very bland. It's very forgettable. We need more interaction with that. I think we need more, like maybe like have it be a bit more like the Wii U's menu, or even the Wii's menu, where it was very interesting, it was very inviting, it was very unique. You could have different like patterns, background patterns. You could have different like, maybe you could have like, I don't know, stickers or pins or whatever you could put on in the backgrounds. um and just have like much more unique designs as well. Like when you put a game in and a little square comes up, maybe have it be a bit more like a unique design for that, and stuff like that. You're doing fine with the whole, you click the button and then it goes ding, and then it just goes straight to the game. You've just played a film or something like that. That's very immersive. That's very cool. But I do think that we need, I do think we need more things to do with the menus, and again, like fix the online play, and everything like that. And yeah, I think that should be probably the only things about the Nintendo Switch Online, that I would say. And the last thing I want to talk about is the dock, because I love the design for the new dock. I think it's very unique. It's a lot more big. It's the same thing with the tablet. It's a lot more bigger. It kind of looks like a little bit. It looks a little bit like a toaster, with its more kind of curvier edges and everything. But overall, it looks nice. It looks very nice. It looks very inventive. It looks like an upgraded dock, and hopefully it can be a little bit more powerful, I guess, than the original Switch One dock. Again, it's got the same. I think it's got the same like USB ports on the side, unlike the original Switch dock has. So if you want to add like controllers and stuff like that, that aren't wireless, then you can do that. As well. Also the Joy-Con, what's it? The Joy-Con grip as well. I forgot to mention this I forgot to mention this earlier when I was talking about the controllers. The Joy-Con grip as well is also magnetic, so you can literally click that into place. Again, that's gonna be so much more better than, again, sliding in, sliding off. Just snap them into place, all good. But the new dock looks really good as well. The new dock looks really good too. And that is it, everybody. That should be it for the Nintendo Switch 2, I think. Again, I'm very excited for it. I think everyone else should get excited for it. I think it's going to be a really good system. I think it's going to sell really well. I think it's going to come out in June 2025. And if I'm wrong, then I won't do anything, but still. And I think we're going to have some really some really great games for it as well. And it's going to have a really good long life cycle. I don't know if we can really count this as a next gen system. So again, if this is the start of like the 10th generation of gaming, or is this technically part of the 9th generation of gaming? Because obviously the original Switch came out in a kind of an awkward position during the 8th generation of gaming. But I think it should be fun. I don't. But again, like, who cares about that? Like, we're getting a new Switch. We're getting a new Switch. It's coming out this year. Hopefully this June. I'm hoping it's this June. But if not, I'll cry. And we're going to get so many great games for it as well. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for this. April 2nd cannot get here soon enough. I cannot wait for that. For that Nintendo Direct. I think it's going to be absolutely great. And I think, again, I'm excited, and I think everyone else should get excited for this thing, because this thing is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. It's going to be amazing. It's going to sell very well. And that is it, everybody. So, thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. I've got another episode in the works as well, talking about Star Wars. So that's going to be really fun. And yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you whenever I see you next.